Hello and welcome back to the channel for another video. I know it's been a while on this channel. The last video was about r/place, and before that was like the best performing video I've had on this channel all year, and that was kind of like, well, that's great, but where do you go to from there? Motivation hasn't been there, but I just thought that I'd make this video and just kind of see if the motivation comes back just from making a video, I guess. Anyway, so this video is about Dan Howell and his video that he uploaded today as I'm recording this, called Why I Quit YouTube. And I guess it's kind of a fitting video, really, considering this is like my second video in like 2 months on this channel. So my uploading has gone from like one a week, I think it was like two or three a week at one stage last year, to like practically non-existent. So pretty fitting that I'm talking about a video called Why I Quit YouTube. Now, before I talk about the video, which is nearly an hour and a half long, it's a feature-length video. It's very interesting, but as I said, I shall get into that momentarily. I just wanted to say that I've made videos about Dan before, well, Dan and Phil specifically. I've mentioned in the past that one of my favorite videos I ever made is called The Negative Effect of Fan, which is, fan is Phil and Dan combined, PHAN. You can see that on the archive channel if you're curious. It was originally on another channel, but I deleted it from there, and I still have a copy, thankfully. Still remains probably one of my top 5 favorite videos that I've done ever on here in like 5 or 6 years. So it's like webcam era, which if you don't know, I used to record my videos on a webcam from like, when did I start? Like 2016 I started, I think, and until like 2019, yeah, about 2019 I think, maybe 2020 even. That was the webcam era, so that's filmed there. I think it's entirely in sepia or something as well. But yeah, I haven't seen it for years, but it always stood out to me as kind of the one video, especially early on, where I was just really kind of talking. It was kind of like this, I guess, but all of my videos previously were either gaming, so they were based around what was going on the screen there, or they were about, I think, like Mars Argo or something, so they were more specific, whereas the Negative Effect of Fan had a lot less direction, but it felt the most authentic, and I think it still is. Well, it was up to then, I think. Don't remember all of my videos ever, but until then, or up until then, I think it was the most authentic video I'd made. But yeah, I should actually quit rambling and talk about the video that I am kind of talking about in this video. Why I Quit YouTube by Dan Howell. Now, I tried to find a good freeze frame, but I couldn't really. Anyway, there's sections in this video. I don't know, is it sectioned? No, it's not sectioned. But there's sections in this really interesting start from like why he started YouTube, and it's basically his YouTube life story, essentially. If you haven't seen the video, I would recommend watching this beforehand. This Why I Quit YouTube video, I mean. Because it's a section that is about burnout, which, I mean, I could talk about that all day. If you've been around, you know that I routinely take a month or a few months break every year or something like that. Something gets in the way and I stop and then come back and then get enough momentum to kind of be like, okay, cool, and then stop again. Circle of my YouTubing life, I suppose. There is a section where he talks about, and spoiler warning obviously if you haven't seen the video, but that's kind of why I wanted to make the video. He talks about his experience with YouTube, and he is a pretty big sized YouTuber, and he's been around since what, 2005, 2006, something like that. So he's been around a long time, and he's kind of built the audience and I guess the trust and stuff from the YouTube people. He kind of talks about how they would like ask him to do things, or whether it be Pride or just speak at YouTube centered things, like a couple of UN things and stuff like that. But he decided, after he was true to himself and made his coming out video, that he would try and pitch some more ideas, because he didn't have anything to hide anymore on that front. So he decided that he wanted to expand further, and he had 3 ideas, and in this video he talks about them, and I wasn't expecting the roller coaster of emotions that I would get from watching Dan Howell's video, Why I Quit YouTube. He put a whole lot of trust into YouTube, and he had things that he wanted to do, and they give him hope, and they kind of be like, oh yeah, we can do that, and then he's like, okay, well, haven't heard from him, so who really knows? But then they invite him to do something, so he does it, and it's kind of like, okay, well, if I'm nice to them, then hopefully they'll be nice to me, and maybe they'll respond, and kind of like a two-way street kind of deal. And then it just kind of never happened. Things got pushed to the side, but based on what he was saying, he kind of gotten about, even though YouTube and YouTube employees had said that they were keen on the idea. There's a part where it's about like a marathon, and he wanted to do a marathon thing, like a series or movie, whatever, kind of documentary style thing. And then after all that, he practiced for it for, I think he said, like 16 weeks, and then it's just like, well, okay, what's happening with it? Well, okay. I mean, it was a cool idea, except it turns out that they'd already allocated a marathon thing to another YouTuber without telling him. So that's a bit of a kick in the guts. And he also wanted to do a scripted comedy, which he wrote the whole thing for, and I guess it went through development hell a bit. And if you watch any of the Why I Quit YouTube video, although it is an hour and a half long, I think that section specifically is very interesting. Although if you want to know more about Dan and you don't know who Dan is, then watch the entire video. It's very interesting. It's a very good video. I'll give him that. Although he does at the end kind of be like, well, happy ending, I guess. I'm making more content. Come see me on a world tour. I'll actually check those tour dates, actually. I might actually do it now. See if he's coming to Australia. It is a world tour, but is he coming to Australia? 1 day, 11 hours, 52 minutes, 45 seconds, and it will be announced. So I can't tell you because I don't know. But yeah, a really interesting video, as I'm pretty sure I've said a whole bunch of times. The top part of the description is a cautionary tale about fame followed with the clash between making content and being content. Being careful what you wish for, because one day you'll absolutely have a complete breakdown. Which is a very accurate description of the video. He basically didn't quit YouTube, although the title says, and people are like, well, you haven't made a video for 2 years, where you been? He had ideas, and he thought they were going ahead, and he did everything he could to make them go ahead, and then he put making videos for YouTube, I suppose, on the back burner because he had the ambitions and seemingly the go-ahead from the people that he needed to have the go-ahead from, and then didn't happen. Spoiler warning, YouTube originals don't exist anymore, so it would still be nice to see the series, though, the scripted comedy series that he spoke about, that he wrote. That would be interesting, I think, to see. It sounded interesting, at least, so fingers crossed for that. He doesn't say anything about it kind of happening, but well wishes and all that. Thanks for watching me ramble on for X amount of minutes, and I guess I'll see you soon for more if I decide that there's something worth talking about, because I decided that there wasn't much more to say. It wasn't things I wanted to cover. I had my boundaries I didn't want to cross, and then things were kind of happening in the community, and I'm like, it doesn't interest me enough to cover, so that's why we are where we are. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Peace.